Hi everyone, it's Nikki here and this is episode 3. So to remember, for those of you following it along at home, on the 1st of January 2026, I set myself a New Year's resolution to do 24 vlogs by the 31st of December 2026. So this is number 3. So it's May. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but now that I've started, I'm trying to do them every week. So this week's episode is all about leadership. And this is not leadership that you're going to, out of a textbook or all with theories and stuff. This is lived experience from stuff that we do here. And I think it's lovely to share stories about leadership in a business like Family Fresh Farms, and people can then start to understand how we tick. So let's start from the top. So I said I wasn't going to talk about theories, but I really want to talk about our investor and our owner or sole director, Mr. Jerry Harvey. So when I did my master's, and I did a double master's, and one of them was in human resource management, and we learned all about theory X and theory Y leaders. And theory X leaders sort of said that all employees were generally lazy, they had to be watched, they had to be monitored because they were always just trying to avoid work. Whereas theory Y leaders always believed that people were self-motivated. In the right environment, people will excel and they will do their best. And I think that's exactly what Mr. Harvey is. Mr. Harvey lets us get on with what we do best, with our technical skills. He lets us lead this company and its people to the best of it. He gets out the way. As long as we are doing a really good job, he's happy. So that's what he's done, and I think leadership, when people trust you as a leader, you step up, you do better because you're accountable, you take ownership, and of course you're going to be responsible. So that's what I feel our leaders here. Then we talk about the next layer of leadership here, which is Patrick and Wade. So Patrick is a master grower. If you cut his body, he's going to bleed green. He's been growing cucumbers since he was a boy. His dad grew cucumbers, his brother grows cucumbers, and he just knows everything and anything about cucumbers. So he's a master grower, and when he came on board as a general manager, same thing, he kept to his lane, he concentrated on the growing and really got out of all of our way and let us get on with our jobs. So that is just amazing to let people be who they are and trust them to get the jobs right, and then go in and always with an inquiring mind, asking good questions. Why are you doing it like this? Just so that I can understand. It's not attacking, it's just his way, and it's actually a very good way of leadership. Then you talk about Wade. Now Wade, he's absolutely passionate about growing anything. So he's been growing, he did horticulture at uni, and he has been growing roses and berries. And then when he got this job in 2018 at Family Fresh Farms growing cucumbers, he was in his element. He's got this massive and beautiful facility to grow in, and he loves to grow. He loves everything about IPM, he loves everything about fruits. He really loves the physiology and the biology of growing. And he and Patrick have learned together. They've swapped skills, and it's been a wonderful way. Wade is a very, very, what I call a high C. He loves the detail. He loves to get down into the weeds and really buckle down and find out all the details. So he loves, and he's very process, very policy driven, and very methodical. So that's yin and yang. And then you've got me, and I'm apologize for the noise. So this is a working farm, as you guys all know, and that's someone who's just been doing a clipping down a road that got forgotten this morning, and they're clipping and they're coming whizzing back on the scissor lift, and hopefully they won't take me out. So I apologize by the background noise, but they're getting on with the job. It's nearly the end of the day here, so we've nearly finished our harvest. We nearly finished all our clipping for the day, and then the teams will cross over and go and help in Glasshouse 1. So we're on Glasshouse 2 again. So sorry about the noise, and that is the lovely Delianne behind me. Okay, so when you talk about my type of leadership, I would consider myself that I am a really heart, empathetic servant leader. I really try to put everything in place and create an environment that's very supportive and puts the people front and center, because I really take the time to learn about people, learn while they're here, learn about their kids, their family, their motivation. And once I feel I understand people, I feel that I know them, I'm invested in them, I share their goals. And my goal here is to make sure that people are the better version of themselves and they are meeting their expectations that they have of themselves. So I'm very much more servant leadership, seeing what I can do to make everyone as happy as possible so their minds are free, that they can really concentrate on their job and do it to the best ability. So that's our type of leadership here. But I have to also share some stories about the culture here, which I've talked about culture, but I'm not going to go into too much depth. It's culture when you're talking about leadership. So in Vanuatu, when we do all these workshops, everyone who comes to this farm, I train them on leadership. Whether they are just coming here for the first time, if they're just a harvester, deliver, whatever their job is, everyone needs to learn about leadership, because whether you like it or not, there's going to be times in your life that you have to lead. Whether it's your church, your family, you the mother, the head of your family, the father of your family, the head of your church, your school, you're on the committee, or something that you need to lead. So giving people leadership skills is really, really important to us. And also it helps the people who are not leaders to understand the power and the responsibility and that the leaders carry, and that they are sometimes in a very difficult position. And I always love this quote. It says, if you want to be liked, leadership is not for people who want to be liked. If you want to be liked, go and sell ice cream. So I love that quote. It's so true. Leadership is tough. It's hard. It can be lonely. You can really question your decisions. And so leadership, we try to give a lot of support and behind our leaders, give them really good training, really get them to understand their own style of leadership. Now that's really important, because leadership is not, you don't go out with a cookie mold and just create new leaders. No. Everyone has their own style of leadership. Sometimes Nat is a really good example. She is growing into a wonderful leader, but she also is very much a servant leader. She's trying to serve a team around you to make them feel supported, and that's great. And she's very quietly spoken, and she's so lovely and humble. That's what I was getting back to. When we do our workshops, I always say to people, okay, tell me words that describe a good leader. And then, strong, they can communicate well, they organize, they are empathetic, they are organized, sorry, I'm repeating some of these words, I apologize. But one of the words that always pops up from the Vanuatu people that they think a good leader is always humble. So, which is it's actually true. Good leaders are humble, but it's actually in my culture, or the Western culture, leaders are sometimes arrogant and strong and headstrong and got big egos. But in the Vanuatu culture, they very much respect people who are humble. So I learned that early on here when we're dealing with our team here, that humble leadership gets you a lot further than big antagonistic leadership. So we take the time every day, and I've learned that from the leaders and watching the people around me, how they lead their teams, is that every day we start by thanking everyone for the day before, and then setting up really clearly and having good communication of what we expect from everyone that day. Leadership is very much about communication and creating an environment that it's clear that what you want them to do. So, we really work on making sure that things are methodical, which pleases Wade, you see, and that there's a real process driven and there's a procedure behind it. I want to talk to you a little bit about Wesley. Wesley is another assistant grower here, and he has excellent leadership qualities as well. He's extremely organized, a bit more like Wade, very process driven, and he loves to be organized. So one of the things I really like, when he was developing in his leadership journey and was a concrete walker, which behind me is the concrete, so the people who walk the concrete, we call them the concrete walkers. So Wesley would set everything up at the entrance to this glass house, the scissors, the disinfectant, and all the things that they needed for the day. And as people came in, he made them click on the right task, and then he would say to them, get your trolley, get your deleafing bin, get your scissors, get your disinfectant, and he would set them up, and then he would say to them, and now you're going to go to row 460, and you are going to go to row, and he got the team to help themselves, and I absolutely love that. It was so empowering for the people. They took responsibility, they had to go to their line, they had to get all the things that they needed to be prepared for the day, which I love it. Then you look at Kennedy. Now Kennedy, he absolutely epitomizes servant leadership. I just absolutely love it. This guy has got more energy than anybody, and actually even more energy than me. And I often think that he will just drop down dead one day because he's going to have a heart attack because he's running at 1,000,000 miles per hour. But one of the things about Kennedy, he is just the best leader on the concrete. He is such a servant leadership. His team, literally, it's like the red carpet is laid down for them to work in the morning. Everything is ready for them. They do not want for anything. They just get sent to their rows. Everything's there. Their trolley, their deleting bins, their scissors, anything that they need for their job is there. And if anything's starting to get short, he anticipates on their behalf. And then he goes, okay, so by the time they come out the line, they will need X, Y, and Z. And he's already got it ready for them. And I absolutely love that. And his team responds to him. But you have to be a bit careful with that type of leadership, because they end up being very, very reliant on him. So they don't end up thinking for themselves, which can be a little bit dangerous and makes them a little bit spoiled. So you get another leader who comes in, and the next thing they're running rampant, getting people stickers and up, things that the workers need to probably take a little bit more responsible for themselves. Okay. Then I want to talk to you about another of our leaders here, and his name is Norton, really lovely guy, and I got him to do a lot of videos for the training, and he had some really wise words when people were coming into work in the morning, and he was like, okay guys, let's keep it simple. When you come here, he said, relax your body, just get relaxed, don't be all tense and worried about the day. Relax your body, clear your mind. Get all your troubles, leave them at the concrete. Don't take them down the roads with you. Leave all the troubles that you're having at home with your finances or whatever it is. Leave those troubles behind. Relax your body, free your mind, and then just pick cucumbers. It's simple. So he's preparing them well, mentally, telling them what to do. Get in there and pick cucumbers and do it well. We have another lady, her name is Salome. She's our fastest harvester on the farm. And when she does her leadership talk on harvesting, she makes it simple. She says, I've got some simple goals. I just need to pick 50 boxes before morning tea, 50 boxes before lunchtime, and 50 boxes in the afternoon. And that's all it is. It's simple. And those are the lessons that you want people to share as leaders in their own place with the rest of the team. I wanted to share some more stories with you too, because I've got this wonderful guy, his name is Philip, and when he first started here, he's such a lovely guy. He's smart. He's actually helping us out in the pack shed while Vanessa's on her holidays, and his name is Philip Barney, and he's a young guy, and he's got big aspirations, and he shared with me one day that he would love to become an air pilot, and I went, that's fantastic. And I have looked at all sorts of opportunities, and I will continue to look for opportunities for Philip to fulfill his dream of being a pilot. So that's what leadership is around, is finding out what makes your people tick and creating an environment that makes them feel safe, makes them feel valued, makes them feel heard, and makes them feel seen. So one of the things that we do, and I'll do a whole big episode on feedback and performance reviews, is that when people go home, and I'm going to do that this afternoon, we've got 9 people going home on Monday, and I'm going to talk to them about how they've done this season, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses were, what they can work on, where their potential is, what we see in them that they probably don't see in themselves. Now, making this a little bit more personal, we've had a business coach when we ran our company, Roses to Go, and his name is Marcus Croak, and he's a fantastic, literally a super coach. And I have no idea where Marcus got this stuff from, but he's always referred to me as Dr. Mann. And I'm not a doctor, I'm far from a doctor, but he has instilled in me that I actually am smarter than I probably appear to most people. And I think there's something, subconsciously, he's got into my messaging or whatever, because I then, as a matured age student, pursued a double master's, MBA and a Master of Human Resource Management, and I got distinction in both. So listen, I'm working on the humble part. I haven't got quite there yet, but there's part of me thinking of taking on a doctorate, and lo and behold, I'm probably going to be a Dr. Mann one of these days. So believing in people, having someone believe in you is really nice, and suddenly leadership is a journey, it's continuous, and I hope you've got something out of today. Thank you.